Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and welcome to another episode of Newsround for Anfield Index. We are into November, aren't we, people? It is Monday the 3rd right now, and complete contradiction to October, we have started the month with a win. People said it was a must win. I kind of steered into that as well with the run we've got coming. Let's be honest, as we sit here right now, how nice is it be just to be talking about a Liverpool win, enjoying that feeling? I'm your host, Dave Davis, coming to you from pissing it down in Edinburgh, absolutely lashing it down as we speak now. But it is November. You wouldn't expect any different. There are mums taking their kids to school in their Arsene Wenger jackets, etc. Fingers crossed, wherever you are in the world, it is a teeny bit nicer. But we start, as we always do, with that how are we question. And let's be honest on this, we're a lot better than we were last week. It's not really too hard, is it? Truth be told, for what was happening and the way we felt after that Crystal Palace defeat in the Carabao Cup on the back of Brentford. But just right now, you can just peek your eyes, through your hands, can't you, and have a look at that league table. Liverpool are back in the top four, as we see there. They sit in third place, 18 points, 1 point behind Manchester City, who they, of course, play on Sunday, and 7 adrift of the leaders, Arsenal, at the top. But we are feeling a lot better. It's all right to say that. Saturday was absolutely huge. We saw a lot of the things that we wanted, didn't we? We saw, if you think about the players that you've, maybe had question marks around this season, we've looked at certain ones and gone, McAllister, has he done a Fabinho and just fallen off a cliff? Is it the injury? What is it? He just doesn't look anything like the best midfielder in the Premier League. It was pretty abject from him so far. We looked at Ibu, who we'll talk about a little bit more, of course, and thinking, is his head already in Paris, Madrid, wherever? Because he just looks a million miles off it. We looked at Mo Salah a few times, hadn't we? And said, especially after the United game, is this the tragedy, the fading of an icon? But those players and others rallied, didn't they? That's the word I'm going to talk about today. I think they rallied. I think they showed a bit about themselves, especially a couple which we're going to talk about. And the other thing I love, that I was there at the game. Anfield showed its teeth on Saturday as well. It knew how big a game it was. It knew the support they needed, and they got it from the first minute. And by the way, the players did their bit, pressing from the off, doing the right things, putting Villa under pressure. If I was an Aston Villa fan, I'd be thinking, why the fuck did we try and play football against Liverpool? Why didn't we just go set piece, long balls down the channels, play for the second? That's the blueprint. Why did we try and take them on in a game of football? So, yeah, the more sides that do that to us, maybe the better. And I like this because it rang round the ground a few times. Even at 0-0, Arne Slot was getting the chance, wasn't he? And he got asked about this post-match. So let's just have a listen to what he said on this one.
A lot, of course, especially because it happened at 0-0. So not when you are leading, not when you are top of the league, but when you're in a difficult situation as a club, as a team. And because I'm definitely a part of that, it's also a difficult situation for me. And then to get the support the players got, but also I got, that is something what makes this club special, I think. They don't forget if you've been part of something special, and they help you, especially if things are difficult.
Yeah, they did help him. We did help him, especially when things are difficult. And listen, it's been pretty abject. You can't ignore that. 6 defeats and 7. We were on to break all the wrong records, weren't we? Arne Slot had talked before the game on Friday about, or the previous game, about squad depth, which you can't be talking about when you spent around 450 million and then retracted it a little bit, didn't he? So, it was nice. That's the word I'm going to use for that he got a little bit of, I don't want to say respect, that's too strong, but his song reverberated around a couple of times. So I think that'll help him and the players. In terms of one player, though, that Dominic Szoboszlai, and I get this is not being derogatory at all, because he's been our best player and he was sensational again on Saturday. He got player of the match. But there's one player we've just got to focus on for this one. Mo Salah. How good was Mo Salah on Saturday? As Arne Slot say, Mo scoring is not a surprise to anyone, but he was also strong in holding the ball up and helping the team out. This is the Mo we all want to see. Damn right. Mo Salah absolutely ragdolled Lucas Digne on Saturday. In fact, there were reports that he actually came off crying, and that's why Emery had thought, I've got to sub him off because a blue looks a little bit weak here. And I just thought he turned him inside out. And quite often, did you see on Saturday, Salah was the outball, wasn't it? When there was nothing on for Marmadashvili or defender, just knock it to Salah, because he will pin Lucas Digne, turn him inside out, hold it up. Absolutely brilliant he was on Saturday. And it was great to see his reaction with Stevie afterwards as well. I mean, what a stat in all his games. 250 goals already. As Brad Barry says here, 250 goals for Salah is ridiculous. Look at how he's taken the last couple too. He's obviously not been close to his best this season, but anyone writing him off is forgetting who exactly he is. And you're just starting to see all the signs that are making you a bit horny, aren't they? The takedown with the left, the finish with the right against Brentford, this all-round performance as well. And even the goal that he scored, people go, it's a freebie, and I get that. But he's on his wrong foot. He has to take it quickly. It wasn't maybe as easy as many suspect. But the all-round performance, 250 goals, absolutely sensational. If Mo Salah is back and functioning even close to the level we know he can play at, other sides are in big trouble. Simple as that. And this was a great stat I saw as well this morning from Michael Reed. Have a look at that. Villa are the 10th club Salah scored 10 plus goals for Liverpool. Look at the people, other teams who are also on that list. Arsenal, Bournemouth, Brighton, City, United, Newcastle, Southampton, Spurs, West Ham. He's just the second Liverpool player to score 10 plus goal against 10 plus sides after Ian Rush. Sensational, wasn't it? Absolutely. And it was interesting, and I'm glad to, I think if I'm pronouncing this right, Chills one that says afterwards, the interview after the game says it all, talking about taking time to gel with the new players. Yeah, he was honest and said, no, I've not been happy. And he's reiterated that point a few times now, hasn't he, Mo Salah, about gelling with new players and getting used to them. So that's been absolutely crucial at the same time. Yeah. And also, to be fair to Mo Salah, whether we like it or not, he did pinpoint Arsenal as the season favourites because of the less change. He's mentioned getting used to his teammates. So maybe Salah, of course he does, knows things that we don't at the same time. But so much to like, as we said. McAllister looked not fully there, but the signs were positive. Same with Ibu. Szoboszlai, sensational. A clean sheet. Bugger me. Liverpool kept a clean sheet. Someone might tell me in the chat panel when the last time that was. But it just feels good, doesn't it, to talk about all these things. No two ways about it. People talking about transfers naturally in the chat. And funny, because we played against Villa, maybe for the wrong reasons, it's right to start with this one. Harvey Elliott wasn't in the squad. And of course, say on loan. But look at that. Aston Villa's obligation to buy Harvey Elliott is thought to kick in if he makes 10 appearances. He's made 5 so far, and he hasn't made an appearance for them in the Premier League since September. Said this on the transfer show the other week, that there is chatter that, Villa will look to sort of terminate that deal, speak to Liverpool again. And it's just, you feel for Harvey. It's not working out. I mean, it was never going to work out for us, but he gave it everything. It just looks like in a year where he was probably thinking, can I make the England World Cup squad? The hopes are fading rapidly. And you genuinely wouldn't be surprised, would you, if, they do look to terminate and he ends up back in Germany. I think the clubs were linked to, weren't they, like Red Bull Leipzig or somewhere else. But it just looks a terrible move for him. And if you were putting in the chat, Panos, thank you for that. Christ, that seems a million years ago, doesn't it? Mid-September, that Burnley game, that terrible 1-0. Yeah, the last time we kept a clean sheet. Going to be tough to keep a clean sheet this coming week, isn't it? But we will talk about that shortly. And a few of you commented on this because I know it was the strap line for the show. Indy dropped one of his bombers, didn't he? The GOAT throws them out there. 10 o'clock last night. Ibu Konate, new contract offer offered to his agent this afternoon. Real Madrid have been informed. Christ. If you look at the Indy or other people have said, this is multiple contract offers that have been put to Ibu now as well. I'm swithering on this because we are almost going over old ground a little bit, but we know the amount that Ibu wants to stay, being put amongst the pantheon of the top earners at Anfield. It's already been confirmed by David Ornstein and many. So before anyone's about to put any nonsense about he's only on 70 grand or so a week, multiple reporters now have dispelled that and said, no, he's on, around double, maybe a bit more. So he's already on a hefty wage and he wants to go even higher. Are Ibu's performances justifying that this season? Now, it was a lot better, of course, against Aston Villa. And we saw, I think him and McAllister were the highest dual winners, I think was 7 each. But it wasn't hard for Ibu to be a lot better, was it? It has been a bit of a stinking season for him so far. And if you look at what Liverpool need, what Liverpool are not doing right now, I just have some question marks about giving Ibu top money that he's wanting. Being honest, anyone think he'll actually accept it? Do we think his head's been turned? I think we've all got strong suspicions as to where Ibu is going anyway. And this is, Tuesday. Everything comes rapidly now. It's a hell of a week, isn't it? Villa, we had Saturday. Tuesday, Real Madrid. And of course, Sunday, City away. And make no mistake, this is not the Real Madrid of Ancelotti where it was just stars throwing in that we saw come to Anfield the other season. This is a Real Madrid of Alonso who doesn't care about ego, stars, anything like that. He will play the team he thinks is right. And look at how well it's working out so far. Played 11, won 10, only lost the Clasico, conceded only 10 goals in those 11 games, scored 26 as well. Top of La Liga by 5 points. This is a hell of a team that is coming to Anfield. And if you look at the top scorers there in La Liga as well, this is insane. Kylian Mbappe has played 11 in La Liga and got 13 goals and 2 assists. Now, I get probably on form, if you're honest at the moment. People will look at Haaland, of course, tearing it up. But Mbappe has also played 3 games in the Champions League and scored 5 goals. So in all competitions, he's played 14 games and scored 18 goals and got 2 assists. I'm not sure a Conor Bradley Rattler is going to be enough to stop him this time, but I wouldn't mind seeing it again. Don't know about you. But yeah, this is going to be a hell of a game coming up. And yet, despite all that, of course, there's a focus, and I'm talking about Mbappe and, you can talk Vinicius and all that. Alonso coming back. Not quite what Mark Morrison sang, was it? But it's the return of the rat, as it were. So, as it says here, he spoke, didn't he? I'll always love the club. I'll always be a big fan of the club. I'll always be thankful for the opportunities and the things that we achieved together. They'll live with me forever. No matter what, My feelings won't change towards Liverpool. I've got memories that will last me a lifetime. And no matter how I'm received, that won't change. Because he knows full well how he's going to be received, doesn't he? And quite rightly. There's honestly some absolute nonsense going on at the moment. Do you see the Amazon Prime reporter with him saying, "Oh, I'm sure you'll get the reaction you deserve and Liverpool fans will give you that"? Why does everyone want to tell Liverpool fans how they should react to Trent Alexander-Arnold is beyond me. Just absolutely tone deaf, the media, aren't they, around this topic and the knowledge around it? Honestly. But you know exactly how he's going to get reacted to, and quite rightly as well. In terms of his replacement, you can't debate this. I'm sorry. There's a lot of, people who like Conor Bradley, and I get it, but he's not had a good season. He had another interrupted pre-season, but defensive-wise, especially when you look against Brentford, where he didn't win a single one of his duels, and this season, again, an interrupted pre-season injuries, it's not been good. But Saturday was a lot better from Conor Bradley. It got better as the game went on, actually, because he struggled a bit with John McGinn initially. But he talked about this afterwards, didn't he? Saying, we know it's been a difficult few weeks, but we know looking around the changing room, we've got so much quality in there, and you knew it was only a matter of time before we can turn it around. I wouldn't say they've turned it around just yet, They stopped the rot, and, there was a lot to like, and a shout out to a few who said this, that it looked more like last season, and Dan Kennett's always mentioned it on Anfield Index, hasn't he? That garbage time element, a bit more control in the game, getting ahead and managing the game, which was absolutely what we saw on Saturday, and that was great to see at the same time. Yeah. Wouldn't say we're just back yet, Conor Bradley, because it's a hell of a week coming up. And also, for all the players talking, it wasn't the biggest one, was it? It was the Virgil interview hitting back at Wayne Rooney. Now, this is important to say. Quite a few journalists who were in the mix zone when he gave these comments have said he wasn't angry, he wasn't shouting, he was kind of his smile, matter-of-factness, directness that Virgil comes across with. But, he answered back about Wayne Rooney's comments. He said, it's easy to blame the older players, but he knows obviously as well as everyone, we do it together, trying to help each other. And every one of us tried to get out of this. Last year, when things went well, you didn't hear that at all. How many did we lose? 6 out of 7, yeah. There are so many platforms nowadays that everyone can say whatever they like, and it gets blown up. We have to stick together, focus on the task ahead, winning games. That's the only thing we can control. Virgil's right in a lot of that, statement that, yeah, there's certain things they control. We want, stick together. It was great to see the support on Saturday. Absolutely. However, when he said, we didn't hear that last year, well, yeah, look at how it went last year compared to the run we've been on this time around. So you weren't going to hear anyone at all. Of course you weren't. But, it's all right to say you love these Reds and they've been shite recently. Both things can be true, can't they? I don't know why people are sort of afraid to step into this analysis. It's been crap at times. And, the Brentford game was woeful. 6 out of 7 defeats is never acceptable at a club like Liverpool. There's been a lot of players who've been poor as well. Van Dijk, to be honest, at times this season, been one of them. But again, the green shoots of recovery were seen for him, I think, as well on Saturday. Yeah. So I understand why he answered, but I'm not really sure what else pundits are supposed to say a little bit. That, it's a job to do, isn't it? Water is wet. This one's interesting from Helior there. So there's many questions regarding our players bought this season. Our main midfield three, our nuclear reactor in Zobo, McAllister and Gravenberch have no like-for-like subs on the bench. Yeah, it's telling, isn't it, that on Saturday, he kind of went back to last season as much as possible, didn't he? Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, McAllister, the trusted midfield from last season. Robertson back in for Milos, Kerkez. In fact, the only two differences, I think, were necessity, because obviously Alisson is injured, so Mamardashvili was always going to be in net. And in the forward line, obviously for who's available, it was always going to be Hugo Ekitike, wasn't it, at the same time? Yeah, quite telling. And it is right to start to just, people have a few questions about new signings and how they're being integrated. It's understandable. But before we get into that, this man, how good was Dominic Szoboszlai again on Saturday? It's a shame, actually, he was robbed for the offside because it was an incredible ball in, wasn't it? Just that control, whip it in for Ekitike as well. But look at Szoboszlai for Liverpool this season, and shout out to his Hungarian counterpart, Mr. Boxak, on this. Most assists with 4, most progressive carries, 44, most progressive passes, 104. I mean, you can see them all there. He's top in look how many 9 categories there. Even the, defensive wise, most tackles 21, most recoveries 85. If there's a player of the season contest, it's not a contest right now, isn't it? Dominic Szoboszlai has won it so far, hands down. And that's whether he's played right back, in the pivot, number 10, wherever, sometimes all those in games. He has been absolutely sensational. I don't know if there's any scientists around, but if someone can just work out how to clone Dominic Szoboszlai, that would be rather helpful for Arne Slot and everyone else right now. Especially save a lot of money in the transfer market. And it's funny, is a little bit the theme that it's worth touching upon it. Robert, and if I pronounce this right, Robbie Totten, 31-30 there, saying, so where does Isaac come in? Where's he fit? Because you can't have a 125 million player on the bench. Well, Robbie, he's happy to have a 100 million pound player on the bench, wasn't he, on Saturday? I just don't think that type of thing is entering into Arne Slot's psyche right now. It literally went back to tried and trusted, I think, as much as he could on Saturday. There is question marks about this recruitment, isn't he? How they're going to be integrated, how they're being used, all sorts of things at the moment. And Florian Wirtz, I mean, Christ, he came on false 9, didn't he? For the last 15 minutes or so, whatever it was. That false 9, you add that to he's playing the double pivot recently. He started in the 10. He's been in the, the left wing, like against Crystal Palace. It almost just screams as Arne Slot does not know how to get him into this side. And it's interesting because Sam Maguire tweeted it as well about that. If you look at the positioning of where Slot seems to want his left-sided attacker this season, it is high and wide. And it's right to talk about this. Cody Gakpo was annoying me on Saturday. And it doesn't seem I'm the only one that people are saying that. I mean, look, counter press is put here. Cody Gakpo is an extremely one-dimensional footballer. The majority of his predetermined actions carry a heavy, natural right foot bias. Swap Cody Gakpo for Florian Wirtz and keep that same team, and Liverpool will be tough to beat this season. It does seem the obvious one. It does seem the popular one, I think, as well, doesn't it? That a lot of people, and me included, would like to see Arne Slot's second son spend some time on the bench, see Florian Wirtz given a real run on the left-hand side with Milos Kerkez allowed to overlap, play the flying fullback. Yeah, I think that's a change we'd all like, realistically, or we'd like to see. But Arne Slot just doesn't seem keen on it at all. Really doesn't. I mean, look at that, Liverpool. So you knew what was going to happen in that minute on the stadium. You knew it was heading for Rose Ed. As he tweeted, just Cody Gakpo doing Cody Gakpo things. And I thought this was funny from Anfield Road 96. Gakpo must be Slot's son or something. How does he end up being the one that always stays on? I do ask that question at times. Yeah, I genuinely do. I think there's a lot of us asking that question as to why isn't Florian Wirtz getting minutes on the left-hand side or a chance? And this is going to say, people go, there will be Cody fans, and I get that. He has had some good moments, and he scored a few recently, but you kind of know what you get from Gakpo. And when it's limited, it's severely limited, isn't it, at the same time? And shout out to Rory Greenfield, because he's tweeted this, and I think this is bang on the money. Gakpo's like the reverse Robin. You know exactly what he's going to do, but don't bother stopping him, as he'll kill the attack on his own. He was involved in some nice interlinking, and he just made the wrong decision on Saturday, time and time again. You could, being honest, as much as the support was great, you could hear the groans in the stadium at times as well. But it is a fair talking point right now. How is Arne Slot going to get any of these new signings in the team? Because he seems to be more solid and more like last season when we revert back to the last season setup. And I've seen some good ones about, and Chill's one there saying it's true, integrate the new players rather than chuck 5 in at once. But how? Is it Wirtz for Gakpo on the left-hand side? People are saying as well, and they've got their thoughts, I think Kerkez is a better fullback than Robertson, but the team looked better with Robertson there on Saturday. I could understand that. Yeah, it's a tough one. Kerkez has struggled. Wirtz, I'm not saying he's been helped, but it's not been great so far. Isak, 125 million. You hope this groin injury isn't too bad as well, but, lack of pre-season on to that. There's only really Hugo Ekitike that's hit the ground running. Shame we, just robbed of that header on Saturday. Mohamedashvili done okay, I would say, but he's not Alisson, and just one-on-one, do you fancy he could have done better against Mbuemo and Sharda in recent games, but some nice saves, especially that deflected one from Cash that hit Virgil. Thought that was nice as well. Seems almost good with the long-distance ones. Those don't worry me. It's one-on-one. I'd love to see that massive Georgian unit just stop. That would be my take on it more than anything. Yeah. In terms of today as well, there's a lot going on because at 12:15, it's open training. So hopefully, touch wood, fingers crossed, it'd be great to see Curtis Jones or Alexander Isak back there, wouldn't it? Absolutely. Later on today, 3:30, Arne Slot will be joined by a player to do his press conference at the same time as well. So there's plenty going on. And also, 11 o'clock, just over an hour and a half's time, I'll be joined by David Lynch because we'll be doing Media Matters and looking ahead to all the coming games, because it's a hell of a week, isn't it, people? An absolute hell of a week. And the reason I say that, Real Madrid and the form they're in at Anfield on Tuesday, how electric's that going to be? Man City away on Sunday, and the Cyborg is tearing up the league at the moment, isn't he? He just looks a level above everything else. At the same time, that's 3 games in a week, 3 games in 8 days. And also, it's looking best when the new boys are sat out, but you're going to have to rotate during this time. So how does he do that? Which one's the more important for you? In a way, to be honest, so you want to win them both before anyone jumps on me for this. But if someone said to me, which game would you love to win more than the other? City away. Genuinely. I think if we won that, that would just be like, okay, that's a big statement laid down. Real Madrid in the early stages of the Champions League, could hopefully not be on it, but Kylian Mbappe's been scoring them. It's a hell of a week coming up, people. It really is. And it was great that, we've got that feeling back after beating Villa, but it can change like that, can't it, in a heartbeat? It really can. Excited for this week, but at the same time, just a little bit of, come on, let's be on it. Let's hope we see Mo, Konate, McAllister, the others back to the level. Yeah, interesting. People got different thoughts. It's a massive week. It's turned a little bit, but to have changed, the results need to happen in these two. Wouldn't like to bet on either. But plenty going on, plenty to talk about. Thank you for all your comments. Thank you for all your thoughts. As Chills One says there, it is 2 massive games. Plenty coming up. As I said, 11 o'clock, I'll be joined by David Lynch for Media Matters. Open trading 12:15, 3:30 on a slot. and a player will do the press conference all ahead of a massive game on Tuesday. But on Monday, the 3rd of November, early doors for you. That was another news round at Anfield Index.